the official message recording in progress.
Yeah. Hey, everybody.
All right.
How are you all? Anyone that's going to be watching on the recordings. Today we're speaking to, I'm going to call you Eugene. How do you pronounce it?
Eugene is fantastic. Eugene is awesome. He's a Romanian. He's fantastic.
So we're speaking to Eugene. You can tell us about yourself. And I know some of you have already met Eugene before. So, but a lot of people haven't. So just how you got into what you do and etc.
Right. Awesome. Right. So, hi, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this live presentation or the recording, whatever you are, however you are watching it. Thank you for watching it. My name is Eugen Popa. I am from Romania. I'm a Romaniac, as I like to call it myself sometimes, just to have fun. And I got started with hypnosis many years ago. Kind of not directly with hypnosis, but I was interested in the workings of the mind, since I was a kid. And actually, like when I was like 9 or 10 years old, there was this one magazine that was coming out once a week, and it had all of the latest news from physics, economy, psychology. All the latest discoveries, tech discoveries were in that magazine. And that was like 30 years ago or more, actually more than 30 years ago. And so that was my only source of knowledge and information. So I would eat up that newspaper every single time it came out, like a little magazine. Now, when I turned 20, I left Romania. I went to Denmark, and that's when I got in touch with the internet. And that was in my 20s. So that was in 96. Since I got access to internet, of course, I got access to information and knowledge, and that is a godsend. So I from very early age, I was very interested, like I said, in the workings of the mind, of the brain, of the emotions. Why do we do the things we do, and why don't we do them differently? Why do we feel the way we feel? Why do we react the way we do? And so that led me to study both the Western and the Eastern philosophies on this. So I got very interested in yoga, in meditation, in Eastern philosophies, and I practiced them quite a lot. And then I returned back to Romania 5-6 years later, and I started to dig around, and I found this NLP training. So I took a course, and in that training, they were talking about hypnosis. And I was like, oh my God, that's pretty interesting. And the claims that were made in that NLP course, which later on I discovered that there are claims made in almost any NLP course about hypnosis, those claims are, pretty out there, right? Pretty fantastic. And so I got hooked on that. And then I started to look around and see what would be the best hypnosis course I could take. I've done research for about a year. I downloaded everything I could from the web about hypnosis, video courses, demonstration sessions, and I was watching them. I binge watched them basically. And then I found a course by Jerry Kine, and I watched his video course first, like 7 days training. And then I decided to go and train with him, which I did. And that was, I think, in it's 2012. That's when that happened. So 10 years ago. So I took that training with him. And then ever since, I took, a gazillion more trainings, like I'm sure you guys also did. I trained with, many teachers, many trainers from all around the world, with Gordon Emerson from Australia in resource therapy, with Roy Hunter in parts therapy, with Dr. Ed Yager, with Connie Ray Andreas, and a bunch of many others. Bob Burns. I know you have a program with Bob Burns coming up. We also brought him to Romania as well, with the Jacquins as well, Sheila Granger. So all of the big names, if you will, I studied with them. And brought them to Romania, just as Justin is doing now with you guys in New Zealand. I do the same with speakers from Europe, and sometimes even from the US. I bring them over to Romania. And also we had, for instance, John Golding from Australia to teach about sleep talk in Romania many years ago. So that was kind of like how I got started. As I progressed through my studies with hypnosis, I discovered more and more things. And whereas in the beginning, I had a very, I don't know how to call that, a straight line, black and white attitude towards how things are or how things are not. Over the years, I realized that it's actually, things are not so clear cut, so to speak. You know, there is no black and white, but there's many, many shades of gray. That's kind of how I look at it. And so, whereas in the beginning of my practice and when I took my first hypnosis trainings, it was like, it's this way and it's the only this way and this is how things should be done. Now I realize that actually that's, you know, just one way of looking at things. There are so many different ways in which you can help yourself or help other people. And I like that a lot because actually that gives a tremendous flexibility in working with both yourself and your clients. And I think flexibility is one of the best qualities that a hypnotherapist or a therapist, for that matter, can have. And you cannot be flexible if you have only a couple of tools in your toolbox. And hence, you know, the need, I would say, to study more and find more programs, find more techniques, find more ways of interpreting, you know, a situation or event. And that for me was, you know, something that I always wanted to, you know, to do, to continue to study, to deepen my understanding and knowledge of working with the mind. And because of that, I actually started to run different programs. Like I said, I brought a lot of teachers to Romania to teach because, like, let's say, I don't know, let's say I like Bob Burns a lot. I admire this guy. He's an amazing person. And I wanted to say, hey, you know what? I like what you're doing. I would like to learn what you're doing. So why not actually make it available to a lot more people than just myself? So then I brought him to teach his method in Romania. I learned it, everybody else learned it. So, and everybody, you know, was happy. And I've done that with just about any different method that I could find. So because of that, I made it kind of a goal for myself to have new methods and new trainings available to my audience, to my crowd, and therefore to myself, to have at least a couple of them every year. So every year I wanted to bring at least a couple of experts from around the world to teach. And that went great until the until the crazy madness, you know, took over the world with all that, you know, COVID stuff. So then we had to stop that. And then, of course, things moved on to the online world. And for me, I have to say, when COVID hit, actually, my business got better, not worse, because I already had a lot of my programs online. I recorded all of my trainings and all of my teachings. And so now people could, you know, they didn't have to come to, you know, Bucharest to travel, let's say, to, you know, take the training. They could take it from anywhere around in the world. And so I was already prepared for that. And I found it to be a very good way to not only boost your business, but actually also to, reach more people. And actually, I wanted to ask you, how many of you here are teaching at the moment? Like, are you teaching anything related to psychotherapy, hypnosis, NLP, any of this stuff? All right. So I can see that Marisa is teaching. Let me just switch my view to see everybody. So I can see that Marisa is teaching, and of course, Justine is teaching, and others I don't know. But also another question, how many of you are recording your sessions? All right. Whether it's online or in your office, do you record your sessions? All right, good. Well done for you, Marisa. And I tell you why that's one of the best things you can do for you as a therapist and for your future clients and future students. Why not? For instance, thank you, Sarah. She wrote in the chat that she does not teach or record. I strongly suggest everyone to record their sessions. And if you're teaching, of course, to record your teaching session, because a lot of people don't know about you. they don't know who you are. They don't even know that you exist. And when you record a session, of course, you will record a session with the acceptance and approval from the client, right? So, like for instance, when I do a Zoom session, um, I from the time that person logs in, they will be announced that the session is being recorded. So they don't have any surprises. They know it's recorded from the time they get in. And then as I start talking with them, I say, listen, this session is being recorded for security purposes, because there are many crazy people in the world, and some would say, hey, you know what, this, I've done a session with this guy, and because of that session now I'm a cuckoo and I'm gone in my head. So then this is my insurance policy to whoever wants to see the session, that has, that I'm not liable for whatever crazy shit you're going to do after the session, right? So that is what I tell them when I start the session. However, in the end of the session, especially if it was a good session, right? If it was a session that people can learn from, if it was a session that people could see either how well the client responded, or if it's a session where people can see how I struggled with that client, if it's a session where we can have a very clear result of the session, right? So these are some of the criteria I'm looking for. So if that's something that I feel, that I believe that could help somebody else, whether that somebody else is my student, or whether that somebody else could be someone who is looking for this kind of intervention, but they don't know how to find it. If I consider that that's the case, then I ask the client, I say something like, hey, you know what, I'm doing a lot of teaching, and a lot of my students, they want to see sessions, how they happen and how I apply the different methods I teach them. So would it be okay for you to use this recording to, to show them how to do this particular method that I applied with you? And sometimes they say yes, and sometimes they say no, and that's totally fine. And I said, there's no pressure. But if you say yes, you will basically help a lot more other people who maybe are considering, doing a session, or who are not aware that actually their problem, which is your problem, it could be solved this way. So if you say yes, then we can use a snippet of this session or in its entirety, and show it to the world and let them know that their problem can be fixed. And most of the time people would say yes. And if they say yes, then I add it to my library. Like for instance, Justine has her membership site. Then I add it to my membership site for all of my students to be able to see that session and see how to apply that particular method. And if they're okay to making that public, then I can take an excerpt from that session and make a video, make an intro saying, hey, so in this session, I'm working with a client with smoking, and they have this problem, and here's what I've done. And then I show an excerpt from the session, which is 5, 6, 7 minutes. And then in the end, I say, how did you like this session? Would you like to learn more about this? Would you like to quit smoking yourself? If yes, just, ring me up, send me a message, and let's set an appointment. And this whole video is maybe 10, 15 minutes. And then you can put it up on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you want to. But now people who didn't know that they could get their problem fixed. Now, I gave this example with smoking. Now they know that they can, because they've seen your session, and they're like, oh, I didn't know that you can use this method. Like we're talking about now, just now about havening. Well, I didn't know you can use havening for that. I didn't know you can use NLP or hypnosis or XYZ methodology to help with smoking. Let me give it a try. Where was your contact details? So by doing this, you actually help yourself getting more clients, but you also help more people become aware of what you are doing, and then they can come to you. And I'll give you an example, to further demonstrate this. Many years ago, I was not teaching, actually, I was doing a public talk, a public presentation about hypnosis. So, when you do a public presentation, what do? Basically, you start by talking about how the mind works, the conscious and the unconscious mind. You give that information. Then you do a few suggestibility testing with the crowd, right? So they can see, they can get involved. And then maybe you take somebody up on stage to do a demo. So people get a full package, and then in the end they say, I would like to, train with you, I would like to buy your product, or I'd like to book a session. They're extremely lucrative, these public presentations. And you can now do them online, of course. So what I've done this presentation, this public presentation. It's in Romanian. I cannot, I can send you the link to see it, but it's in Romanian, so it's not going to help you much. But what I did was, there was this girl who came up on stage because she was phobic of snakes. And everything was recorded. She knew it was recorded, but she wanted to get rid of her phobia of snakes. So she came up on stage. The whole intervention, from the time she came up until I said, thank you very much, goodbye, that whole thing took 10 minutes on the dot. And she left the stage without a phobia of snakes, right? So what I've done with her, I think I've done something like the timeline therapy or something along those lines, right? So I've done that session, and then I took that video, and then I edited, and then I put it up on YouTube, like a demo on how to get rid of phobia of snakes. And I got a lot of views on that video, right? A lot of people have been viewing that video. And then a few years after, and by the way, I did keep in touch with that girl. She was in her 20s at the time, and I did keep in touch with her over the years. And she said she never had a phobia of snakes anymore. So a few years later, I got this client coming in who says, I would like to, I came to you because I have a problem. I would like for you to help me with a problem. And I said, fine, come over, let's talk. And she came, and then just out of a whim, I just said, so how did you find out about me? How did you arrive to me? I says, well, you have this video on YouTube about phobia of snakes. It's like, right. She said, I had cockroach phobia, right? And she said, I watched your video, and when you were working with that lady, with that girl on snakes, I was thinking of cockroaches. So by the end of the video, I no longer had a phobia of cockroaches, right? Because I watched your video. Because what I did, I was so smart when I said that, right? I said, I'm working with this girl here on her snake phobia, but you guys, you can use it for whatever problem you have. Maybe you don't even have a phobia. Maybe you have something else. But just follow the steps as I go working with this person and apply it to your particular case. And she did. And she said, when the video was over, I no longer had cockroach phobia. I no longer had, bugs phobia, insect phobia. And so that convinced me that maybe you can help me with this other problem, which I came for. So that was, if you want, that was my business card. That was my foot in the door with her. That was what got her convinced to come over to the session. Why? Because I recorded that session and I put a snippet of that presentation on YouTube. And you can do that yourself. You can do that every single time. And I promise you, if you're going to do that, it's going to help you so much. Maybe not immediately, maybe not right away, but it will grow your online presence, and people will start knowing more and more about yourself and about what you do. And that will, basically, I don't do any advertising right now for clients, but I get clients calling every day, right? I get clients coming in every day because they saw my video. I had people who came to my training, right? To my hypnosis training, which is like what, close to 2,000 New Zealand dollars or 2,500 New Zealand dollars, right? So I had somebody come to my training, and this person said to me, I watched all of your YouTube videos. And at the time when he'd said that, I had over 300 videos on YouTube, and 80% of those were about 1 hour videos. So this guy, he watched a gazillion minutes and hours of videos, and then he came. I had another guy who said, I've been following you for 3 years now, and then now I decided to come and take the training with you. And he's been following me on social media. He saw my Facebook lives, he saw my YouTube videos, he saw my articles, and then he came to the training. So when you do this stuff, you are helping you not just right now, but you're helping yourself in the future. You're helping yourself and you're helping everybody who is looking for solutions, you're helping them to become aware that you might be able to help them with whatever issue they have. And one very important thing, and I know Justine knows a lot about this, is, and my suggestion to you is, if you like what you're doing, and I hope you do, and if you don't do this already, my suggestion is to focus on a particular issue or a particular problem that you are solving for people. And I don't know, 70, 80% of your messaging should be on that particular topic. So that can be weight loss, that can be smoking, that can be anxiety, depression, phobia, addiction, whatever you want to call it. Just make most of your messaging focused on that particular subject, and that will help you bring clients not just on that topic, but on several other issues as well. Claire is asking, how do you store the session, and do the client ask for the session? I store the sessions on Zoom. So for instance, I do sessions on Zoom, and so they are stored on Zoom. Zoom never deletes your sessions. But if you want to create like a professionally looking video, and professional looking video basically says you have a logo on the video, you have maybe an intro, maybe you give a little presentation introduction to that video, and then you have an outro, like this was brought to you by boom, or whatever, your something. So if you do that, then you can either store it somewhere on, there are so many online storage services right now, Dropbox, Google Drive, Microsoft Box, and all that stuff. So there are so many of them. Or you can simply upload it to YouTube, and it can keep it there, not public, but private, or unlisted. But if you want to make it, and if you have the approval from the client, then you can make it public and have the entire session. I have had many sessions. I do have many sessions online that I've done with clients in my office. And I actually was doing live sessions. So I say, you know what? I'm going to give a free session to somebody who wants to see how hypnosis works and help them solve their problem. And how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to have some people fill out a form, and then I'll look in the form, I'll see their detail, I'll see their issue, and then I'll choose somebody from the applicants. And then I call that person to come over. We do the session, and when I do the session, I live stream it on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere. So I live stream the session. People from all over, they're watching the session. They're seeing, what I'm doing. They're seeing how the client responds and reacts. And then they ask questions. Last hypnosis training that I was teaching, so I was teaching a 6-day hypnosis training, and on day 5, I think, I said, you know what, I'm going to, and I've done this for the students, and I said, I'm going to do a live session with a client who has a problem. And in this session, I'm going to I'm going to show you the different techniques I've been teaching you in the class. So the class was 6 days. In the first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, I've been teaching different methods and techniques and types of intervention. And then on day 5 in the afternoon, I said, now let's do a session to see how to apply the methods you've been learning throughout the week, to see how you apply them practically with a client. And I made a public announcement. I said, if you'd like to get your problem fixed, come on over, take the training, come to the training on this day at this hour, be there. And depending on how many people we have, I'll do 1 session, 2 sessions, 3 sessions, however many people are there. And we had this lady who came in. She had a pretty major issue, and I was doing this for the students. But hey, she agreed to come. She knew it was recorded. She knew it was on camera. So why just keep it only for people in the class? I said, you know what? You're going to come in. We're going to record everything, but I'm also going to do a live broadcast on YouTube, on Facebook, So everybody who is interested about how to work with hypnosis, they can watch this session and they can see what it's all about, and maybe they will get inspired to maybe book a session or maybe come to the next training. So you can do it in so many ways. There's so many ways in which you can promote yourself and your services and your products. And that's what I would suggest you do, and continuously, of course, learning, because I am teaching hypnosis, I'm teaching, parts therapy, I'm teaching so many other types of interventions, but every single year and every single month, I would even say, I learn new stuff. And it's I'm always trying new things out. I'm always testing. And for the past couple of years, we've been doing summits on hypnosis, on healing trauma, on NLP. And I can tell you, I learned so much, and it has changed so much the way I run my sessions just by doing these summits and learning from these fantastic speakers and teachers from all around the world. And I suggest you guys do the same. If you really want to be better, or if you want to be the best, if you will, then never stop learning. Whew, that was a tirade. I hope you didn't get you bored.
I think that's the cool thing with our job, with what we do, right? Because I think before I came into really getting into hypnosis in the mind, I just went from job to job because it just didn't stimulate. It wasn't stimulating enough. Yeah. But what we do, there's so much to learn, never ending.
I want to see if anybody here has any questions to what I just said, or on any other different topics.
Just comment. Yeah. I find that recording is essential, is really essential, because I not only record the hypnosis session itself, but also the introduction. When I sense that there is a problem there, or there is a short, there is a gap in communication between me and the client. It happens very often. And so, because like there are things that we can pick on the body language. And when you say something, depending on how they respond, you'll know that there is a gap there. And you don't, sometimes you don't know how to address that gap. Let's say, for example, I want to lose weight, the client says to me, and then I say to the client, scientifically, the techniques that I use have been proven to be very useful, and most people lose weight. And then this client sits back, and that that person wants to say something like, I have a history of trauma, or I don't know, a dog bit my leg and I can't move past it except if I eat all the time. But that is not spoken. But us, because we are in front of people all day, we develop that gut feeling that they give out with their body language. And then when I sense that, I immediately ask them, can I start recording the session from now? Because they know that the hypnosis session will be recorded. It's conditioned to work with me. But the whole lot in the discussion and the issues that they bring, then I ask them when I see right.
Yeah, I understand. Absolutely. And actually, you touched on a very important point. But before I go any further, I want to ask you, Marisa, are you from Brazil?
I'm from Brazil.
All right, I got you. All right, I heard your accent, so I was like, you gotta be from Brazil.
You've been there.
I love Brazil. Yeah, a few times. Yeah, I was there for some summits and also been teaching a few classes. But I wanted to say something you touched on something very important about the initial conversation. So what you can do, especially if you are going to give a pre-talk to a new client who has never, it is the first time you're interacting with them. So if you're going to give the pre-talk, what I would suggest is record these sessions, and at some point after you've recorded, I don't know, 3, 5, 10 different sessions, pre-talks, you'll know that this one is like the best pre-talk I've ever gave, right? So what you can do, you can just take the pre-talk, and then you can make an article on your website, or you can put it on YouTube, and it says, so are you interested in hypnosis? Here's all you need to know about hypnosis before you come to the session. So this way you will save yourself so much time, because why not? Why should you? And I, like, for instance, I know many, like, for instance, Rob de Groot is doing this. Jerry Kine was doing this, right? So you have a pre-talk session, which is recorded, and you tell the client, so we have a session on Monday, 9 a.m. Watch this video before we meet.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And then you give them the video, the pre-talk, which is publicly available, maybe, I hope, on YouTube or wherever you want to put it. And then when you meet, you just go, hey, do you have any questions? Did you watch everything? You know, what is there anything that kind of ring the bell in your mind? Or is there anything like a warning sign that, you know, came up when you're watching that recording? And that way you will also know if they watch the recording or not, right?
Yeah.
So if they said, no, it's everything clear, I got it, I understand now, I see what you mean, and I think it's pretty clear and straightforward, you saved yourself a lot of time, maybe 15 minutes, maybe half an hour, and now you can just start doing the session.
Yeah,
right?
good idea.
So record your pre-talk, and also you can do this with so many other things, because, for instance, you can record the whole pre-talk, or maybe you can record because you're doing a session. And by the way, when you record your sessions with your clients, you're not only recording the client, you're recording yourself as well.
Yeah.
So maybe during the session, and not maybe, for sure during the session, you'll have some gold nuggets, some truth bombs that you're dropping through that session. And you think to yourself, oh my God, I said that so clear. This is so clear. I explained this particular subject perfectly this time. Yeah. And you wish you would have recorded yourself, because it was the perfect explanation. And now, because you recorded the session, you can take that piece of you talking about this particular subject and make a video in and of itself. And again, make it available for everybody to learn. Hey, here's, here are the, here's what I think about smoking, or here's, the truth, or what the secret of losing weight. And you've never said it so well. You never said it so perfect like you did in this session. And luckily for you, you recorded the session. Yeah. Because now you can take that piece, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes that you're talking about, that particular subject, and they can now make it public. Yeah. And that's just extra content, extra material that you're providing people, so they know that you exist. When people are starting with any, not just hypnosis, but with any work on with clients, we are first, what do we do? There are like different tiers, different levels. So you start by working one-on-one. It's me, the therapist, and then I have a client coming in, another client coming in. So you do one-on-one sessions, right? That's how we all start. Then, if you want to grow, if you want to go any further, whether because you want to make more money, or you want to help more people, or you want more people to know about you, to grow your brand, to grow your reach, then what do? You start doing group sessions, public demonstrations, public sessions. You do Facebook Lives, you do YouTube Lives, you do TikTok, you do whatever, where you are now doing the same thing, but you're not doing it with just one other person. You can do it with 100 or 1,000 people at the same time. So that's a group session right there already, right? And it's still taking from your time. So this is the second layer, the second level. Well, when you're starting to record these, then you can take these and transform them into, I don't know, let's say products. And then you go to the third level, right? Where people can come in and they can watch your live sessions, or they can buy your training. Yeah. And now you start making some money, and you start, delivering to even more people, simply because you've recorded those sessions, you've edited them, and now it's an extra layer of income for you. And so when you reach to this third level, you don't have to be live anymore. You don't have to do the one-to-one or one-to-many, because that's already done. And now people can see what you're doing. They can learn from what you are doing, and they can learn from you. by simply accessing that video online or by simply purchasing that program or product that you maybe created. And it's super easy to make. It's super easy to make, you know.
Yeah.
If you want to create a product, is simply think of a topic that you like. So I'm going to ask you, Lily Ellen. I like your hat. So what is the one thing that you like talking about? Let me ask you that.
I like talking about,
or helping people with.
Helping people with. I seem to draw or attract people who are interested in experiencing past lives.
All right. So
and
let me stop you right there. It's not what you
100%.
attract. It's not what you attract. My question is, what do you love working with? Not what you attract. There's a big difference.
Yep. To be honest, right now, my current passion is ancestral trauma.
Ancestral trauma. Perfect. Fantastic. I love it. So now here's what I suggest you do. So take ancestral trauma and think about it this way. What are 10 different ideas or points around the subject of ancestral trauma that you can talk about? What are those? You know, like, first of all, okay, the first, I can tell you right off the bat, the first thing, what the heck is ancestral trauma? Many people don't know. They know the words, but they don't know what they mean together, right? So that's one subject. And then are there different ways in which ancestral trauma can manifest? Where is it coming from? How do I stop it from continuing from me further down the generations and stuff like that? So you take the one thing that you like most or that you're most passionate about, and then find 5, 7, 10 different ideas around this topic. And then you take each idea, and for that each idea, you have at least 3 to 5 talking points that you can kind of like dive into that particular idea. Right? And so then what do? Well, you suddenly have a course, right? A course about ancestral trauma, where you come with your interpretation, with your expertise, with your knowledge, right? With your research about ancestral trauma. As I say, in this lesson, we're going to talk about what the heck is ancestral trauma. So here are the 3 or the 5 important points that you need to know about ancestral trauma. And then you go and talk for, I don't know, 5, 6, 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes on that particular subject. And now you're done with chapter number 1. And then you repeat chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, give examples, give case studies, and suddenly you have a 3, 4, 5 hours course on ancestral trauma. And that's it. You put it up online on your website, you make a few videos, you make a few articles, and drive, you know, awareness to that. And suddenly you're starting, you know, to help more people who never knew all of these things that you know about ancestral trauma. You help them, and then you make some money yourself.
Yeah, I like that. I recently, I guess you'd call it a download. It seemed to be channeled, but it all just unfolded. I seemed to receive it in fast forward, and it was a script that I delivered to a group actually, and it was linked to ancestral trauma. And so I guess that's given me an idea. I mean, I get it really clear in my head, but I'd need to, spend time in developing that into some sort of course or anything further.
Yeah. But... And keep in mind, done is always better than perfect. Right? Done is better than perfect. And to put it even more rough, perfect is just the flip side of the coin that reads afraid to not be accepted, afraid of not being good enough. That is perfect. People who are looking for perfection, they're actually looking for acceptance, not for perfection. Right? They look to be accepted, they earn to be accepted, to be appreciated. And they think that if they are perfect, then they will be accepted or appreciated or loved or whatever you want to call them. And because of that, that's the drawback, because they say, if I cannot do it perfect, I will not do it at all. And they end up doing it not at all.
And so as an example, what I would do with that is I would ask, who does that belong to? And generally I find a cord to an ancestor, and we get to untie that.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm.
All right, let's mute. Oh, she muted herself, or Moira. All right, yeah. So that's how you create your own product or program. And I tell you what, here's another very cool, and I see some questions in the chat I'm going to answer in a moment. Now, here's what you can do, and this is something I'm working on doing myself right now. Once you have created your video course, then what you can do, you can transcribe that course, and the transcription of it can be a book that you put out. And suddenly you have 2 products, not 1, right? And then you can take just the audio from that and make it into a podcast. And now you have 3 products, not just 1, right? You can take excerpts from your video lessons and just those excerpts, put them on social media so people know that you have created this course, and now you have promotion material for your product. Very easy, very fast. This is like that. It doesn't take long, right? Just sit down, write the main ideas. And for instance, when I do videos that I want to, like when I do promotion videos for the summits I'm creating, I have some talking ideas, and then I have the camera here, and right, you know, I tape to the camera, I tape a sheet of paper with the main ideas I want to talk about in that video. I don't have to keep in mind word for word what I'm saying. You could do that, you know, you can have a, I forget what that is called, you know, that thing that rolls text on your screen so you can read from it. I forget what it's called. You can use that if you want. A prompter, right? You can use a prompter, or you can just have the main ideas, like main idea number 1, main idea number 2, and you see that, and now you know that for the next 2 or 3 minutes you'll talk about this main idea, and then you go to the next, and like that. Very easy. So Claire is asking, what platform do you use for online courses? There are so many platforms out there. You have Kajabi, Teachable, Thinkific, Kartra. There are many other programs like that. I don't use those. I use something of my own, because I purchased some space, online space on a service, and so I use that. But you can use any of those, and I would recommend, especially in the beginning, I would recommend use those services, because they take all of the technicality out of the work from you. So you just go kind of like upload the videos, write some text, and boom, your course is done. They have like a very cool step-by-step process to walk you through to build your course. So basically you're actually building your course as you're going along, uploading the videos. So I would suggest you use some of those instead of what I use. But as you're getting better with it, and as you're, you know, advancing, you'll find pros and cons, and you'll see which other methods you'd like to use. That's, you know, that's my suggestion there. It's not important, you know, what platform you use. What is important is to have something to put on those platforms and start selling. That's what I would suggest. All right, let's see if you have any other questions. Clara was also asking what is the link for to the summit. We'll provide that, and actually Justin doesn't know about this. I'm dropping this little bomb right now. I'm gonna give you guys a $10 discount to if you're going to sign up to the summit, just because you're in this call. Justin, is this a good time to talk about the summit?
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to, if any of you guys have questions, you can either ask them right away or type them in the chat, you know, based on what I just spoke now until now, or based on anything, you know, if you have anything that from your practice that you'd like to know more about, let us know. Hey, Roxy. Roxy just said hey, and that's it. All right, so let me make this happen for you guys. One second. All right. So we have hypnosis. Okay, Roxy says, if I already have a premium membership, does that automatically give me access to the upcoming summit? No, Roxy, because you have a premium membership to a program, not to the future program. So which one do you have access to already? So let me explain to everybody, for everybody here. So we have the Hypnosis Masters Summit, which is coming up September 8th through 14th. It's a 7 days event. It'll be very early in the morning for you guys, unfortunately. It starts at 5 p.m. UK time, so that's 7 p.m. plus 9 hours. You're 9 hours ahead of me, so it'll be a 4 a.m. your time. That's when it starts. However, so you can watch all of the presentations when they go live and 24 hours after for free. So even if you're not live when we go live with the sessions, you can still see them when you wake up, because they will be available for free for 24 hours. Now, if you want to get the premium pass, as Roxy was asking, with the premium pass, you get access, lifetime access to all of the video recordings. You can also download the audio version of the presentations and also the transcript, the PDF version of the presentations, and also have access to the different bonuses offered by some of the speakers. And that is when you get the lifetime premium pass. And that's $80 or $100, depends on how fast you sign up. I'm gonna put a link here with the coupon code already applied. So when you click on that, you'll have a $10 discount already applied to your coupon code. And I said it's $80 or $100, depends on how fast you sign up, because when people come to the main page of the summit, they then can sign up for the free pass. And after they sign up for the free pass, they are taken to the premium pass page, which is the lowest price is available for 30 minutes. So if they don't sign up for the premium pass within the first 30 minutes, then they will be redirected to the full price, which is $97. So that's kind of the whole thing. And also, all prices are in US dollars, because, you know, I don't know the New Zealand dollars, but all prices are in US dollars, yes. And I'm going to answer to Liddy's question in a moment. So the Hypnosis Master Summit, we have 35 or 36 speakers presenting at this event. The main areas we focused on for this year, we had phobia, addiction, anxiety, depression, pain. And then we had some presentations about principles of hypnosis, and then some presentations having to do with promotion and marketing. But these are the main 5 areas or 6 areas, if you will, for the summit. So there's some real, like I said, I've been learning a lot, because this is the 6th or 7th summit I'm doing. So last year we had the NLP Master Summit and the Hypnosis Master Summit. This year we had the Healing Trauma Summit in the spring. We have the Hypnosis Summit coming up now in September, and then in October we're going to have the NLP Summit, and then in December we're going to have a summit on coaching. And next year in the spring, we're going to have one on marketing and business for coaches and therapists, because that's so dearly needed. And so there are a lot of summits, and like I said, so much information to be learned and so many skills that you can get in touch with and learn from some amazing speakers, amazing trainers from all around the world, from New Zealand, from Australia, from Europe, from US, from Asia, not so much from Africa for now, until now, but we hope that's going to change soon. So there are amazing presentations with, like I said, a lot of information that will definitely help you in your practice if you want to learn more stuff on how to do your work better with yourself or with your clients. So Lily Allen is asking, just out of curiosity, what hypnosis method do you find you use most frequently? Parts, any form of parts. When I say parts, I mean Jaegerian therapy, or resource therapy, or parts therapy from NLP or from Charles Stebbets, Roy Hunter. It's parts mostly and regression. This is what I use most, but I combine it and I mix it and match it with whatever comes at hand at the time, because I've been, like I said, fortunate enough to do hundreds. I've been basically doing 100. Like this year, I would be doing about 170 presentations with 170 speakers and experts on hypnosis and NLP, trauma, and coaching. So there's a lot of information there. So because I've been doing all of these sessions, I learned even more stuff from them, and you know, it has changed the way I practice. It has enriched my intervention, and it can do the same for you. So I put here in the chat a link with the coupon code already applied. The coupon code, if you're going to purchase this at any other time, the code is Justine. So that's that $10 discount for you guys. I'm sure it's going to be easy for you to remember that one. So let me see, Claire has a question. So with the premium, is this correct? We have a lifetime access to all of the summits, so we can watch over multiple times. Yeah, gazillion times. You can watch and repeat for however long you want. It is lifetime access to this summit. So when you sign up for the 2022 Hypnosis Master Summit, you're going to have access to the 2022 sessions. There is also a 2021 Hypnosis Master Summit, and there will be a 2023 Hypnosis Master Summit. When you sign up for a premium pass for any of the summits, you have access to those sessions from that summit. So like I said, this year we've done the trauma summit. People who purchase access to that, they have access to that. If they want to have access to this, they will purchase this separately, and so on and so forth. But I can tell you, it's, you know, yeah, I mean, that's like a no-brainer. You know, we have speakers who charge $1,000 per hour for a session. And then they come and do a 1-hour presentation, and you can watch it for free. I mean, or just for that one person, you know, just for that one person. But, you know, you can watch it for free, or you can purchase it for $100. When you sign up for the premium pass, you'll see there are also some extra offers that are being offered to you in the sign up process. Feel free to, you know, get them or not get them. That's really up to you. But, you know, to get access to the sessions from the summit, it's, like I said, $77 or $97, depending on when you're signing up. If you take longer, the price is going to go up. If you're acting fast, then the price is going to be the lowest ever, which is, like I said, $77.
Awesome.
Awesome, possum.
Cool. So anyone have any other questions? We were going to talk about something else. So
clear and so concise. Yeah,
we were going to talk about something else today. So have you got time to talk about that, or do you want to do that in a whole nother Zoom? We could have a whole Zoom just for that specifically. Is it the one, the training that you do that I was interested in, the Jaeger one?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Right. So
do you want to Yeah, I was going to say, do you want to do that in a whole nother Zoom, or do you want to talk about that now, of what that is?
The Hungarian, you mean?
Yeah, because that sounds really
Right.
cool.
Right. Okay. So let's give a brief. Let's do this. We can have a brief now, and if people want more, maybe we can do a separate Zoom on that.
Cool.
I was mentioning, because I think it was Claire or it was Lily Allen who was asking about what I like to do most, and I said working with parts. And from working with parts, one method which I love very much is the Hungarian method. And the Hungarian method is a parts therapy in type of intervention, one where one of the main distinguishing points, so to speak, is the fact that you have a central part that you're communicating with rather than all the parts that are popping out related to a problem. So I'll give you an example. The client comes in and says, I would like to quit smoking, right? So
is it just me? No. Oh, we'll just
that's
okay. Well, we'll go backwards
Sorry?
a little. We'll just rewind a little bit because we
the internet was frozen.
You.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? All right. Okay. So I was saying, let's say we have a client who wants to quit smoking, right? And so from the perspective of working with parts, the consideration is that there's one part or more that are causing the smoking problem. So the differentiator with the Hungarian method is that instead of working directly with the parts, you have a central part which connects and communicates with all the other parts. So you have, let's say, 5 parts, but you have a central part that connects them all. So with the Hungarian method, you're actually communicating and connecting to this central part. And from this part, then you start communicating with the rest. Kind of like, let's say you are the owner of a company. You're not running the company, you own the company, and you have a managing director, you have a CEO, and you realize that the company is not really doing great. And instead of you going to fix the company, you talk to the CEO of the company and say, hey, get your shit together. Something is going wrong here and you need to fix it. So you're not going yourself to find who of the employees are causing troubles. You are actually asking the CEO to find that, because that's why that person is the CEO, and then report back to you with the results. So in a nutshell, this is what the Hungarian method is, and this is what it does. And I was talking with Justine about the possibility of maybe doing a live training in New Zealand in January, depending on how many people would be interested. And I think, Justine, that would be a great idea to actually, like I said, do a separate Zoom call with people that will also be available, of course, in your membership area afterwards, where I will be presenting more details about the Hungarian method and actually something that people can take away and start applying already with their clients. And then based on that, we will see, how much interest is for this training, because then we can, like I said, somewhere in January, mid-January to the end of January next year, we could actually do a certification training in the Hungarian method, and we could teach it right there in your neck of the woods.
Sounds really good. Awesome. So we will organize that Zoom, Eugene. We'll have a time.
Yeah, we'll see. It's really up to you, Justine.
Yeah.
Like we did today, if we let people know like a week or 2 weeks in advance about this, there'll be like a webinar on a crash course on the Hungarian method, 1-hour crash course on the Hungarian method, which will be practical. Maybe we'll also do a demo if we have enough time. We'll see.
Awesome.
And yeah, let's hope we'll have people who are interested to join it.
Yeah, sounds very cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, for you this evening, for us.
Yes, absolutely.
And definitely learned heaps and heaps, especially awesome ideas for getting into the making videos. Yeah,
super easy. Just sit in front of a computer, press record, and start talking. That's all.
It made me think I have to go through all my training videos, millions of them, start taking little snippets and put it onto YouTube.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, awesome, guys. So I'm looking forward to seeing you again. I don't know, in a couple of weeks. Justin is the boss. We abide by her rules and her law. So whatever she says we'll do, that's what we'll do. And if you have any questions about anything, you can email me at contact@eugenpopa.com, basically my name, or reach out to Justine, and make sure to use that coupon code that I gave you. And looking forward to seeing you, like I said, in a few weeks, whenever Justine is deciding with good time.
Do you know what, Eugene? I'm going to take that little snippet, and it's going to be the start of my Spotify. It'll be this. It will say, "She's the boss." No, I'm kidding.
Exactly. You can quote me on that.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and thanks everyone for coming tonight, this evening on a Sunday.
Thank you, everybody.
And I agree with what you said about Justine. It's just like the subconscious mind is in charge.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
Awesome,
Okay,
guys. Thank
cool.
you so much.
Thank you,
so much,
everyone.
Justine.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.